What's going on, guys? Did you know that there's a such thing as a quadruple A game or a game studio? We're going to cover all that and so much more. Yes, that's not a typo. I figured I'd get that out of the way first. It's kind of a big deal. Massive amounts of information regarding Microsoft's new IP and the way they're going to approach their new IP and so much more. But of course, as you guys file in, I want to get to some introductions. Starting with Cody Eastwood. How you been, brother?
Really good. Excited. Things are going better every day. And yeah, I'm excited to be on RDX. It's been a long 7 days.
Things going better every day.
I don't know. They just are. They just always are.
That's great. I agree. Hey, D Batch, man. How you been, brother?
I'm good, man. Just adapting to this baby life and joining the No Sleep Club. Man, it's brutal, but I'm here.
All right. Hey, we got Jay Fonzarelli in the house.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? It's good to be here, man. As usual, every Tuesday, it's always fun on RDX, where we keep it real and we do talk about everything out there.
Yeah. We focus on Xbox, as we've said before, but if it's relevant, I mean, hey, people like relevant things, and that includes our audience. Hey, we've also got the newest member of RDX, So Shady.
Hey everyone, I'm glad to be here. I can't believe it's Tuesday again already. Since joining the show, it feels like I've entered warp drive with my perception of time. But I'm feeling good today. I'm looking good today. What the fuck? Smelling all right today, but I'm ready to go talk about these gaming topics, boys.
Yeah, and we've also got Kid Smooth, the best bot, in here as well, brother. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, what's up, Diller? Thanks for having me. Happy to finally be on here. This was on my wish list for 2018. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I don't have a wish list, but I'm about to make one. Yeah. Fuck.
Happy belated birthday. Here you go.
Oh, thanks, Fonz. Thanks, Fonz. Hey, you and Diller been in the news. I've been hearing your names all over the place.
Oh, yeah. Tons of misinformation out there, and that's kind of the problem with the community is you got people with no credibility that talk about shit, and 8 people believe them, and then you remember that people are morons. So, you know what, we might actually touch on that a little bit and you know, correct some stupid shit that people have taken out of context, of course, as always. But, you know, I just took a bath and shit. I'm not trying to roll around the dirt with crusty ass motherfuckers. We're going to actually talk about this DLC situation going on with Destiny 2 real quick for those that are curious. What's going on with this, Shady? Go ahead and jump into this situation.
Well, the situation has been resolved. Last I checked just before the show, the DLC does work. But when it first launched today, anyone who was playing Destiny 2 through GameShare was unable to take advantage of the new DLC. And because the game didn't recognize that you were allowed to play, it was instantly putting people into the store asking for money. So the comment sections were littered with people with, you know, the typical gambit of death threats at the top, extreme, to the bottom, just thinking that something shady was going down. Trust me, I know it's shady. And it turned out to be just a glitch, but, you know, the gaming community is impatient and we want our stuff now. I mean, I was reading comments, guys, like, I took today off of work. God damn it. If I don't get my fucking Destiny, they'll be held to be like, it was nuts. But like I said, it works now. So there's nothing to be worried about. Anyone out there that does play Destiny, by all means, get in there and get that new DLC going. I'm looking forward to it myself after the show.
DLC drop, and it turned out that, hey, there was a glitch going on with GameShare partners couldn't play it. The guys who didn't play or maybe paid half for the game couldn't play it, and they were instantly jumping on the forums and be like, Microsoft, you fuckers! You're trying to make us pay for the game, and it was just a glitch. So another example of, you know, hey, we could chill out and figure shit out first, right?
That's right.
DK2 achievements were leaked, and I figured this is what we're talking about. Who here is looking forward to State of Decay 2?
Oh, I can't wait, man.
So that's D, that's me, that's Fonz.
Me.
Yep. So that's everyone. Kid, you looking forward
We
to
all are.
Sorry, say it again.
You looking forward to State of Decay 2?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so pretty much everybody on the damn panel. Well, the achievements were leaked, and it looks like there's 3 different ways you can actually end the story of the game. Now, keep in mind, when you end the story, I'm pretty sure you can just keep going after that, but it looks like maybe it'll be a little more in-depth than the first one when it comes to the narrative and the choices you might bring. I don't know. What do you guys think about this?
I think that's pretty sweet, of course. Anything that branches and lets my gameplay differ from my friends' and brothers' gameplay. So when we talk, we got something different to talk about. It excites me. I like that. And basically, I promotes replay, basically, with the achievements being that way. You can jump into someone else's game, even though you may have beaten it, and catch a couple more you missed.
Yeah, I'm extremely excited about State of Decay 2. I was doing that graphics comparison yesterday, and just looking at this footage and the drastic improvements to animations and the way these fighting mechanics work, I'm just like, and increasingly more excited. So I'm really happy I get to play it on the 18th. Colt, what do you think you're gonna get out of this the most? Multiplayer, single player? What are you gonna do with it?
There's a story.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I mean that's cool. The most that I want to get out of it is playing it with different people, like you guys and some of the people in the chat, and just my live friends. That's what I'm mostly going to get out of it, because we're going to be bashing, shooting, and looting. And hey, I just coined that phrase: bashing, shooting, and looting. Yeah,
no,
I want to.
I don't think that was you that coined that, but yeah, we're gonna. You know
Hold
what?
on. Hold on a second. Yeah, I've got the patent right here. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to get out of it. Different experience with different people, and just be playing it all the time. I'm curious to see what kind of time the game's going to give me. I'm thinking to be 30, 40 plus hours if I end up liking it. Yeah, so I'm excited.
I'm looking in the chat right now. I just see a line of flame emojis. So people are excited for this shit. Give us your take on this.
The achievements, I actually just pulled them up here. I mean, anything I can earn from this, I'm happy. I think my only looking at the achievements, it looks like the whole co-op progression thingy isn't going to interfere with that. So
I am not looking at them. I want 0, 0, 0 spoil. Some stuff was spoiled with God of War for me with the trophy list, I guess. I'm not fucking with them, but I did hear that it kind of offers 3 different endings to the campaign. So I don't know. Fonz, you got anything to wrap this up with real quick? We got a lot to talk about.
I'm looking forward to the fact that I'm going to get the much of the same experiences I was getting from the first game, which I loved, but the improvements that they have made. I'm not going to get all that jank, the screen tearing, the frame drops that I was getting on the first, and the overall the gunplay. The gunplay was much improved apparently. So
I love that fake hype, Fonz. It's great. I love it.
Oh, jeez.
I know. I made a video on this, and there's a couple of people in my comments telling me that I'm fake hyping it. I'm like, what? I love the first game. Like, I understand not all games. For me, not all games have to be AAA to be fun. Okay, at the end of the day, the game is what it is, and it's just a fun game to me. If you don't like the game, then that's cool. I respect that, but I like the game.
That happens. It does. It's normal.
Yeah. Some people don't like everything or agree on everything, but let us know what you think in the chat. State of Decay 2, it's pretty much State of Decay 1 with improved mechanics, visuals, hopefully performance, and of course co-op. I cannot wait for this fucking game.
My man Randall Thor 19 in the chat says the achievements are boring and not creative at all. That's a little bit better here.
Never heard of him.
Well, that doesn't hurt me at all, Rand, because I don't achievement hunt, and you're a fraud.
Never heard of him.
Shout out to Randall Thor. But I do want to talk about something that might be a little controversial, because people can't. For some reason, they think if your opinion is different than theirs, then it's World War III. And really, when it comes to how you define your console, this is kind of a big thing that was taken out of context, because I was reading a super chat last week for the viewers that remember. You guys heard the whole thing, so you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why are we never have to cover this? Well, there's idiots out there that take 3-second sound bites and do what they do to them, as always. And if you got to do that, then you already lost. So when it comes to what defines your console, my point is a lot of people say it's just the games, right? And when they say it's just the games that define your Xbox One or your PS4, what they really mean is it's the exclusives. And if it's not the exclusives, the games in general would define more of that generation than anything, because some people don't play exclusives. So you would think back and say, God of War and Witcher 3 and Fallout 4, all these games were so awesome last gen. Of course, this is in a couple years. That would be something you do when you look back and define a generation. But when you're defining a console, what are you going to think? Fortnite?
Fortnite. Let me steer your sentence a little bit. When you said some people don't play exclusives, I would kind of clear that up a little bit. With most people, their favorite games may not always be exclusives. Like you said, like my favorite games are Fallout, Mass Effect, Borderlands, games like that. And there's a couple exclusives in there that are my favorites. Yeah. But I look at all those games, and I look back at the Xbox 360, and I say, do the games define it? Well, absolutely. but a lot of the almost all those games are on PS3 as well.
Yeah,
and
that's where I would say that
muddied up.
What a lot of people are neglecting, and you know, there's a lot of really cool people out there that are talking about this casually. There's others that are making bullshit up and saying that we don't care about games when we've been preaching games longer than any other, you know, hardcore. Like,
and asking Microsoft to do the same. You know?
Yeah, like I just made a video called Doom and Gloom, Xbox Doom and Gloom, blah blah blah, where I spend the first half addressing will they fail if they don't deliver the C3, and the back half addressing those using their profitability as a shield against criticism. And I sit there and say, we knew fucking shit. Like, and I hammer it down. You can't go from that to saying that I don't care about games or we don't care about games, because we talk about it and have been asking every single week for months. And you guys in the chat already know this. Speaking of the chat, over 300 people watching us live already. Hit that like button if you can. Let's try to get to 300 for the end of the show. I'm just saying that, and I'm going to get everyone kind of in here, right? But I gotta take the floor for a second. I'm just saying that when they say games define a generation, yes, games are extremely crucial. They are very important, but people are different. Some people may define their Xbox One through its media capabilities, through the HDMI 2 and all of those things that it does with OneDrive and things like that. Some people may use it for that. Some people only use it for a 4K Blu-ray player on the Xbox One S. That's a fact. I know people that only use it as a Blu-ray player. Did they define their console by the games? No. Some people look at the online, right, for the 360 with me. It was all about the online of the 360 and my friends, and those great games came together with the online and my friends to form those memories that I instantly used to define that generation with the 360. That doesn't mean the games aren't just as important. Games are absolutely essential, and we will always have games. But when people say the games, they really mean exclusives. And there's a lot of people that don't even touch the exclusives. How do they define it? Fortnite? You know, like those games are on everything pretty much. So that's kind of losing a definition if it's on everything. So I don't know. I'm just saying not everyone's the same, and that's completely fine if you disagree. I define it with the games combined with the overall experience I have with the X1. Everything that I do on it and the people I talk to in my fucking 400 game library and all that good stuff, my gamer score. There's so much to it. I just don't whittle it down to one little thing. I know it's a games console, but I don't define everything about it by what game I'm playing at the moment. You know, there's too much to it, if that makes sense.
Too many absolutes really is what it's all about. Too many people are just being totally absolute, black or white about things. And then what ends up happening is they'll just go run off and make a video about other men. But it's like, just calm down. I mean, I don't blame them. I don't expect them to pour through hours and hours of us on our videos and podcasts talking about how we like certain games and games are great and how we want more games from Microsoft.
And we said, as me and Fawn showed, if you haven't checked out Fawn's video, the PTL, pull the trigger or whatever, I might have that backwards. We covered all this and we took some clips that people used of us talking. Then we went, all right, here's the full clip. And we instantly destroyed them. So that's what I'm saying. Their communities watch that video. You know how many DMs I've gotten making fun of some of these guys, taking our shit out of context, saying they unsubscribed or they'll never believe anything they say again. People aren't stupid. And when you lie about someone, I expect you to back it up. So I do expect them to pour through an extra 3 seconds of footage next to that clip they took out of context or ask where that clip came from. You get what I'm saying, Fonz?
You know, a video game console is an electronic digital or computer device that outputs a digital signal or visual image to display video games.
Okay. So anyway, well, the way I look at it, guys, is video games to me is the bottom line is these consoles are all about the games for me. Okay, but that is for
yes, me. Us too. But I don't define the entire thing.
No. But I'm saying that's why I buy these consoles is to play video games. But that is my opinion. I know I've heard people out there say that they like Xbox because of their services and features, and you know what? I may not agree with it, but I don't really care. I don't really care to like expand on that and say, you know, you're a fool for having that opinion or whatnot. I just don't care. I mean, for me, I like what I like and I go on my way. You know, it's my opinion. Everybody has their own opinions about this stuff.
And nobody ever said, though, that's the best part, is nobody over here ever said, we don't want games. We've sit there and right next, we showed it in the video, right next, before and after the clip they took out of context. We showed it where we're talking about the absolute, and Dee was in that video too, the absolute need for new IP and the desire from the panel to hammer that home. That's the number one thing. But we never said that games aren't important or games don't define a console. For some, games are everywhere, and that was my point. If you don't play exclusives, then how do you define the console? By the multiplats, I guess, that are in everything. And my thing is, it's too big for any one thing, and I don't make absolute claims for everybody. So games are absolutely critical. Kids move. What's your take on this real quick before we move on?
I'm sorry, I had to freaking run out because my kids were being loud. I don't know if it was interfering in the podcast, dude.
It's a long story, and we don't have the time to catch.
But I know it had a lot of related to the comments that were made about what was said in the last podcast.
Yeah.
And what defines a console. Everybody and a mom had a response video for it. And I was trying to ask, like, what's such the fucking big deal? It's like one random person mentioned this shit.
Asshole off
the best.
Is it really button? Oh my god, my cable bill. Oh my god.
You sound like fucking T-Pain trying to reply to a console war question.
Why don't I jump in, as it was my comments that more or less sparked this whole debacle.
That was your comment?
It was me, bro.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Oh yeah. Let's pull like a Jerry Springer and bring.
Okay.
And for those listening, before we continue, I promise we have a ton of great stuff to get to. I'm sorry we're down in the trash right now. We like to be playing garbage apparently. So go ahead.
Okay, obviously, video games are very extremely important to a video game console. We want games. We want exclusive games. But it's hard to define a console by just games, just like it's hard to define a person with just one word. It's just not enough. No one can say that having last gen really encompassed the multimedia aspect and bring you YouTube, the internet, Netflix on your console all in one. You could be in parties with your friends, watching this content, talking about it, having a great time, all in the same box. A lot of people take advantage of that all the time. And that's a huge part of it. I love Game Pass. I love EA Access. I like having the ability to have access to over 200 games for like $12 a month. It's a huge win for me. So it's all-encompassing things is why I play on the console that I play on. It's the online, it's the controller, it's the games, it's the services. It's
and
everything.
Of course, as we said, the games will always be there, and there are more coming. We never said there weren't. We never said we don't want more. Like, these people are assuming that we don't want any games, even though we've hammered the games thing harder than they have, and they're assuming so much more. But anybody that just heard what Shady said says, hey, I define my console by a lot of things, the overall experience, more than just, Witcher 3. Because if we're defining the console by the games, I have to define it by Witcher 3, unless, like I said, you really mean exclusives. In that case, your argument's dead because some people don't play exclusives, so some people don't play multiplats. Like, all right, now use those games to define the generation instead. Like, it's too complicated. So I just say I sum it up with the entire experience, or else we'd all be on, the fucking Nintendo. If you want to talk about meta scores and the games and all that shit, and you didn't care about talking to your friends and the online or any of that shit, you would have been on the Wii U and shit, right? So,
right, yeah.
I don't know, whatever. Somebody on fucking Top Dog, shout out to you too, fuckface. I saw you spreading that bullshit on Twitter. You fucking dick licker. Look, I expected better because Top Dog was here during the show, and he's tweeting out this little clip taken out of context too.
He was here to actually hear the whole story, but he's writing up his own little cable access soap opera.
No, I don't Top Dog interview. But it is what it is. It's so simple, and I hate it when we have to address people that can't listen. They're all fucking, I don't know. It's really crazy. But for those who see the bullshit out there that are listening, it's up to you guys to fight the misinformation, linking the facts, because I'm not dabbling in the trash. All right, it's not garbage day for me. I'm done with it.
We definitely thank the chat that listens every week and that pays attention and doesn't spread garbage. Thank you very much.
We have a good audience, and we have a crap ton of news to talk about, gaming stuff.
We really do. We really do. And shout out to over 400 people watching live. Hit that like button if you can as we crawl out of the dumpster and into the next topic.
The air is so fresh out here.
Yeah, Dealer just had to clean house. It's no big deal. He sprayed some lemon pledge. We're ready to talk about games.
Yeah. And real quick, this isn't even a group topic, but I need to dispel this. Apparently, somebody messaged me wanting me to talk about this for a split second. People are saying the X1X can do 8K or some shit because it's HDMI capabilities. And I'm like, well, technically that port can do certain things at 8K, but the hardware can't push it to up to 8K. So
that's correct.
Don't worry about that bullshit. If you see anybody peddling Xbox One X 8K trash rumor stuff, ask for a link. I'm getting tired of these unsubstantiated claims and bullshit.
I think that comes from the fact that it's HDMI 2.1 compliant.
Yeah, that's what they're getting it from. They're like, the HDMI port can do 8K 30, so the Xbox can. It's like, well, you need the GPU to push that up to 8K.
Yeah, the GPU can't do it. Maybe at 2 frames per second.
And we don't want any of that trash fucking action, do we? Shady, real quick, I'm making the RDX live show question more of a thing. Definitely more of a thing, because the last show we didn't get to it. I'm starting to actually integrate it into my topic so I remember. Shady, do you got a question for us to answer real quick before we move on? We get the community into the show a little more this way.
I do, actually, and it's going to be the first topic we got, and it was from the Darge Knight, and he wants to know what the hell is going on with all these Quantum Break 2 rumors floating around.
Yeah, that's actually a really good question, but I have to shoot it down because that's a topic, and we're going to cover that.
With the topics, okay.
Yeah, it's down the list of ways, but effort, Shady, you did a great job.
I've got the topics on the side already kind of linked in, so we can bring them up as we go.
That's true, but then I can't follow along, Fraud. So
okay, all right. If you want anything just out of nowhere that isn't a topic, Nintendo is charging for save files. If you want to take it on the Switch, what do you think of that?
What the fuck?
Charging for save files. I've heard this story before. I've heard this before. What was Konami, right?
Konami.
Yeah, Konami.
Yeah.
Well, it's Nintendo, so I don't really give a shit. But
not a good idea.
Say what?
I was just saying it's not a good idea. It's not going to.
No, it's anti-consumer as fuck. I mean, do they get one save slot like Konami, or do they get 50 and they charge for 51? Like, what's the deal?
I don't know. I didn't look into it because it's Nintendo, and I'm not too high on that. But I'm assuming it's going to be per game. If I had to take a shot in the dark, if they're looking to actually make money off of this, if you want to save your Zelda outside of the Switch, you're looking to put a bit of money, and if you want to save your Mario, same deal. I could be wrong.
Yeah. And that's, it is what it is. It's Nintendo. We never made any claims except for the basic facts there. They're charging for some sort of save file. Yakuza 0, Kids Move. The Yakuza franchise is rumored to come to Xbox, apparently, and this is just a rumor. But what would you do the second you got that Yakuza downloaded on your Xbox? I guess you had to chase the kids down the room again.
You don't laugh at that.
Are you talking to me?
Kid. I'm talking to Kids Move.
Oh, okay. I'm sitting there going, what's going on?
No, Kids Move's having his fantastic debut on the show, and just trying to see if he's alive or what happened.
I'm a little fan of Yakuza 0. I like the game. It had a good story and all, but if it came to Xbox, that's cool. I think it would appeal to some people out there, not everybody, just like it didn't appeal to everyone on the PlayStation, but
no,
it's a decent series.
Options are good, right?
Yeah, it's always good.
I know Colt would play this first thing.
I'm not familiar.
Okay, well, it's Yakuza.
I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. I'm not interested in it. That's fine.
In Kids Smooth defense, we
I've looked into it quite a bit.
Out of his botting. Remember, he'll be back.
Yeah, I've looked into Yakuza quite a bit. It's not for me. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Kid, never know if you played or not.
I'm looking at the chat. Is Kid not in the room with us here?
Remember, he was botting real bad.
Real bad. Well, hey, hey, back to the Darge Knight's question there with Quantum Break. What was the question there, Shady? Because we're actually on the topic now.
Oh my gosh, you could have just.
Which is why I brought it up. Jesus.
Hey, I didn't plan on this being a disaster. I'm sorry.
It was. The question was, what do you guys think about the possibility of a Quantum Break 2 coming out?
Go ahead, D. Go ahead, D. Batch. Give us the facts.
I'm stoked. If I.
Okay.
I did.
All right, I can't do this.
I did see in the ray tracing demo that Microsoft had. They did have that time machine, in that demo. So it gives me a little hope that they are working on a sequel. Mm-hmm. The game was a fantastic game, and it didn't have a definitive end. Like at the end of the game, you're like, oh shit, I want more of this. That was my stance on it. So I'm hoping to God there will be a sequel. And with the Xbox One X, they're not going to have the same deficit that they had with the original Xbox One. They can really put all the bells and whistles and showcase their technology in this game. So I'm hoping. I'll tell you, if I get a Rise 2 and a Quantum Break 2 at E3 and 2 new IPs, I'm over the moon, man.
Sounds like a plan, man. Referencing our last topic, Eternal Shadow, Sorry, I don't know if that's an I or no. He says that Shenmue is basically the same thing. If you played Shenmue, you played Yakuza. I can neither confirm or deny those claims. So, that's come from Shadow.
It's kind of like Shenmue. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's what I was told about Quantum Break. Not to burst the bubble, I was told it wasn't happening. But that doesn't mean that it's not happening. So we'll see. In that regard, I don't know. I would almost prefer them doing Alan Wake 2. Anybody in this chat agree? Alan Wake 2 or Quantum Break 2? Let us know in the chat there. Anybody else in the panel got a thought on this?
I'm going with Quantum Break 2 if I had to choose between those two properties myself. I would love to have a Quantum Break. It was a good game. I like the mechanics. Once you're powered up, you're zipping around, blasting dudes like a true mutant would. It was good. I liked it, and I love a true time-bending story. It delivered for me.
It delivered.
I'm kind of getting in that area there where I'm not really looking forward to a sequel to some of the middle of the road. There's like some 80s, high 70s, 80s exclusive rated games on the Xbox One this generation. I'm not really looking forward to seeing those. I'd like to see Rise 2, like D said, because there's big potential with the story, like we talked about last week. If they make it a little more supernatural and get into mythology and, not make it so grounded. But I would really, like D said, I'd like to see E3 show a couple of games that we have no idea about that could become like the next great flagship game for Microsoft, because they really need that.
There's got to be a demand somewhere, because the only thing that sparked this entire conversation with Quantum Break 2 was just some random guy on Twitter saying, I know for a fact they're making a Quantum Break 2 or whatever, right? And everyone's like, holy shit, he knows for a fact. And he must know for a fact. So everyone ran with this, and the guy has no credibility or anything. And it's just like he just said he knows for a fact, and everyone's like, holy shit, so I don't know. There's no real source behind this, you guys, just in case those that didn't know. To my knowledge, Quantum Break was just told that it exists by some random asshole on Twitter, and now we're all talking about it. So
I'll tell you what, if the only thing that was going to be shown at E3 for Microsoft stage was the handful, like the 3 to 4 games and the API SDK leaks, why would they even have that? Would be the worst presentation to show what you're already expecting. So there's got to be 1 or 2 surprises, that they've been working on. They've had to keep under wraps. Obviously, you don't go to E3 without something under wraps. So yeah, that's what we're hoping for.
Quantum Break has its fans. In the chat, we had a mixture of Alan Wake 2, Quantum Break 2, and both. So, there's definitely a need for those narrative-driven story titles. Those one and dones, we need those, right? So, because people don't like them sometimes on the Sony side, but they love a Quantum Break. So, I'm not saying all you guys in the chat, but I hear it all the time. One and done. Jesus Christ, just good game's a good game. It is what it is. City Skylines. Now Xbox One X Enhanced. I figured I'd throw it out there for any city building fans. It is also available on Game Pass as well. And I guess we can talk about the Nier Automata rumored to be coming to Xbox. We covered this a few months ago. Nier Automata, much like Yakuza, rumored to be coming to Xbox. Also, from what I heard, Nioh may potentially come to Xbox. Not sure about that or the legalities of that. But we said this forever ago, a year ago, that these are third-party games that have not been locked down, that will just probably come over in time, right, Shady?
That's right. It's the Nier Automata. It's no passing craze.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, it's coming, boys. We all saw it. I hope it's good. I've heard it's really good. I've heard the story is way out there, so I'm going to have the old noose ready just in case the cutscenes are too long, but I'm looking forward to getting in with that gameplay myself.
Apparently, it's Autonoma is how you pronounce it.
I don't give a shit. It's Automata. Because so that means Glitcher was right. He was over there. I'm like, Automata. So, I don't know. You pronounce it how you pronounce it.
Tostada.
Fonz, what do you think about this? Is this your type of shit?
No, actually, I didn't get it on the PlayStation either. Just, it's not for me. And my mother taught me, if you don't have anything good to say at all, don't say anything. But nah, I just
taught you that after CFDs came out or before?
This was after.
Oh, okay. Shit, I was gonna.
This was definitely after, because I look like a fraud there, don't I?
Go ahead.
But no, I'm just not looking forward to this this game. I wasn't looking forward to it before, and I'm still not. It's just something about this game. It just doesn't resonate with me. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the chick in the skirt running around. It just I don't know. I don't know.
It's definitely kind of I hate to use the word weird, but it definitely is kind of a weird concept. It's a Platinum Games, so it's got that fast pace, like over the top action, but like the style is, I guess for Western gamers, you know, it seems a little strange.
But over there, you know, it's probably mainstream stuff. You know,
I've played I played like the demo when it came out, and the storyline, yeah, it might be a little much for us Westerners, but the gameplay is pretty fun, to be honest with you. The action, I liked it.
Yeah, it's got shooting. You have a floating like bot that goes around with her, and it does like the rapid fire shooting as you move around, and then you have melee combat with the swords. But you know, it's just kind of the storytelling, just the whole aesthetics kind of strange for me. So I mean,
who are we kidding? We're gonna kill our audiences with the boredom with this story of this game. So, kid said he's trying to get his internet working, and shout out to over 500 people watching live. Hit that like button if you can. We're about 25 minutes into the show, and we got all the best topics to go. Of course, Red Dead 2 Fonz. Let me run through this, and then I want to hear what you got to say on this. So, of course, there was a new story trailer. Let us know what you think in the chat as well. They said that the game will have deeper weapon mechanics and intelligent dynamic slow-mo deaths. That should satisfy that fucking psychopath Shady there. Hey. And, of course, it's releasing October 26th. Fonz, story trailer. What were you expecting? Mind blown? What?
Well, you know, for me, it was because I liked it because they finally showed John Marston. We all speculated. They showed him. What's that?
Playing music in the background.
Go ahead, talk.
So anyway, I
don't want to get a copyright strike.
Distracting, bro. That's distracting.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I don't know. I would have preferred gameplay footage, but you know, Rockstar knows what they're doing, guys. I mean,
hang on. Top Dog just said Red Dead Redemption 2 ZZZ. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, he's just joking.
He doesn't like it. He's been pushing that for a while. Every time I post,
oh my God. Everyone in the chat called Top Dog a fraud.
But anyway, I've heard a lot of people actually talk badly about Red Dead 2, that they're not looking forward to it, and I don't get it. The first game was so damn good, and it's Rockstar, and what it seems like they're doing from what I've heard from IGN, they saw some gameplay, about 40 minutes of it, and they're really trying to push the envelope here. They're trying to innovate the third world, you know, the open world, open world genre. You know, they're trying to push the innovation there. They're adding more depth to it, and basically now it's going to be more like a living, breathing world, and there's going to be people and animals and stuff that are doing things, whether you're there or not. So you'll come across people doing their day-to-day tasks and stuff, and it's not just like watching a guy sweep nothing in the corner or whatever, and he's always
going to practice being a peeping Tom, trying to catch people,
and you're going to be able to interact more with the townspeople and stuff. And I just think it's really cool, the stuff that they're implementing into this game. And man, it's Rockstar. Like I said, they know what they're doing with this trailer stuff. Pretty soon they're going to have like a narrative trailer showing you what you're going to be doing. I mean, come on, it's par for the course. They do this kind of thing all the time with every game. I'm excited for it.
You can look forward to the gameplay reveal at Sony's E3 stage, assuredly.
According to IGN, some of the trailers that we've been watching have included some gameplay footage, because they played it and they said some of that footage was actual gameplay footage, like when the train's going by and they're all by the campfire there talking.
It's in engine, but I think people mean like, I want to see the game being played from that gameplay perspective.
Yeah. And just to touch on what he was saying there, I also read an article. They were saying that, you know, the stores will open and close. These guys will come out, you know, put their stuff away, turn off the signs, close the doors, shut off the lights. So it's going to be a real world. I'm excited for that.
Shady, game will have deeper weapon mechanics and intelligent dynamic slow-mo deaths.
Yeah, I had to quickly go and change my pants when I heard that news. I'm back though.
Hold up.
Very excited.
Hey, hold up. I got to address Top Dog. He said, Fonz, if you want to be a cowboy, go live in Texas. Top Dog, if you want to be a girl in a skirt, you know, I guess that's why you play Nier Automata, right?
Another classic curb stomping to talk dog.
Pistol Joe said, "Damn it, I dropped my beer." Oh my gosh, that's great.
What were you saying, Shady, about the physics and stuff are making a return to the game, apparently.
Yeah, I'm super hyped, and I hope they are cranked up beyond next level style. I really like when the AI in the game acts like it's alive and fights for whatever life that is. That makes me a psycho, so be it. I've grossed out many an observer watching me play games thinking I'm a psycho. No one's getting hurt, no one that I know. It's all good here. But I'm excited. I want to see just full blown. I want to gut shot some dude in the corner and hear him screaming for 5 minutes as I'm headshotting his whole crew, and then come back and finish him off. Jeez. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking for, boys.
Yeah. Last show you had me a little worried. You're like, "Oh no, God, no!" And you're talking about them putting their hands up in front of their faces as you shoot them in the head. Yes. It got really bad for those that caught the last show. I'm sure you remember, but
no, in video games, I'm a total black hat for sure. I play the villain.
Yep. Yeah, I believe you. You got any other RDX questions there lined up that are not topic related? Fraud.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good.
I've got one from Killanova, and he's asking, what is the longest game session we have had? Gaming binge session.
Probably Dead Space 3, maybe co-op. Like it's a random game, but I don't know. That's kind of a long ass. Each of us have to go through a story.
Just which game and how many hours? Mine was probably like Destiny 1.
I could tell you what it is. It's World of Warcraft for 12 hours straight back in the day.
What? You psycho.
On the regular, or is that a standout one day, or were you doing that?
That was one day. That was one day, years ago, many years ago.
Okay.
That's a good question for the chat, too. What's your longest gaming session straight on what game? Very, very interesting question. But I do we're kind of stressed for time here. We got so much to talk about. Xbox backwards compatibility matters. Apparently there's been over 1 billion hours played next for Xbox backward compatibility. And hey, Cole, I got a question for you here.
Yeah. Do
old games matter? And if they don't, what will those people that say old games don't matter say when they find out the PlayStation 5 plays PS4 games and they can bring their whole library forward with them?
I think they'll be really mad because there's a couple differences here. First of all, the PS3 and 360 era were hot with a lot of great games, and we're seeing them come over to backward compatibility. Today we got number 498th game, and I know old games, but the difference is this generation, by about 2015 or 2016, the majority of us have gone mostly digital. So if the PS5 comes out in 2020 and the next Xbox, right then or the next year, we're really going to want those like 50 plus games we absolutely love that we bought digital. We're going to want to keep those games and be able to play them.
It's not about just the old games and having something to play. It's about keeping what you've already purchased, right?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, that's what people don't understand. Like, they're quick to dismiss backward compatibility. Nobody wants that, but yet PS Now is a thing, and it actually has people paying for it. But that's the thing. Like, these are the games we get. 2 of these games every month from Games with Gold that are 360, and those, we get to play those. But all the games we bought or that we have on disc, like those are accessible to us, and they're not locked away by a generation once they have those approved. So it's really important. I mean, that's that. We know that, and people are super divided, like right down the middle, where they give a crap or not. But next generation, it is very super important. And I know, like, I'm very sure that Sony will provide a full PS4 compatibility with the PS5 because they just have to. It's just the right thing to do. And there's so many great games that have been on the PS4. They can't just lock those away and expect people to keep that console.
I get that some people will say, they're not into old games. They just want to keep moving forward. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
I get it. But for a lot of people like myself, I didn't play everything last generation. I like playing some of these games, especially, them being upscaled to 4K and stuff. It's a nice touch. It's an added bonus that I like.
And on PS5, you'd like to be able to go back and actually 60 frames in the God of War 60 frames mode, right?
Yeah, but I also wanted to address the people that are saying basically, oh, those old games are trash and everything, just trashing on the Xbox because, that's all they got, apparently, okay, according to them. But they have games on the Sony side as well. Like you're going to have like a remake of Spyro, and they're excited for that. And they're excited you know, other games that have come out, like what was that last one? The Shadow of the Colossus and things like that. Like, you know what? They all have older games that people want to play again. I mean, that's legit. I understand that we want new games, and we all on this panel want new games on the Xbox, but damn it, it's nice to have these options and to be able to go back to games that maybe we want to play again, or games that we haven't played at all.
Well, what about there's 20 or 25 backward compatibility games that are enhanced? Like Fonz, you and I were playing Red Dead at like the best it could ever look.
Yeah.
Without being put on PC with somebody's wet dream.
It's got a ton of benefits, man.
It looks beautiful.
Like those games are great. Every game, the game DVR, going back and capturing it's all great. And we've kind of hammered that in over the past 6 months. Like people saying that are kind of silly. And when PlayStation 4 games are playable on your PS5, don't you dare touch them, because those are old games.
Don't you do it, Neil.
Ryu Carito, I kind of don't want to read Ryu's comment here, because last time they just sound bit that and like idiots and look stupid. He says, play Destiny 2 DLC. Yes, Ryu, have fun with it, brother. Thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate it. Hey, I want to talk about something else here. God of War selling 3 million in 3 days. Fonz, give us your take real quick.
Fantastic game. It makes sense. It's a phenomenal game, man. They took a lot of time on this game and put a lot of effort into it. You can tell, and that just shows that people are appreciative of that. And 3 million sold in 3 days is awesome.
D, give me your take on this real quick.
On what? Sorry.
I swear to God.
He meant Colt. I'm not surprised. 3 million is awesome because the game is huge. So now let me address real quick. There's a lot of Xbox guys who are saying 3 million out of 75 million consoles. That's not right. Yeah, that's a little bit ridiculous. Or, they only have a count from 3 days. This game is going to easily, I'm guessing by the end of the month, after a full month, not the end of this month, after a full month of God of War, I think it'll be close to 8 million or more. I mean, this game's big. It's one of the biggest of the generation on the PS4.
I'm predicting around 12 million or so.
Yeah.
Hey, K Tucker in the chat said, God of War is nothing but a button masher. Yeah, right.
Actually,
especially not the new one. Definitely not.
Yeah, definitely not. It's half of whatever was button mashing has totally been flipped on this game and traded. You've got half of it where it could be button masher, but the other half you have to be pretty strategic. So.
Yeah, we've talked about how it's a good game, guys. Can't take anything from it. Great game, and it's going to sell a lot, so that's good.
Why people are surprised though, like in all honesty, like this was a highly anticipated game from the Sony fan base, and it had a lot of marketing behind it. And as soon as those reviews hit like a week before, all getting these perfect scores, of course the game is going to sell.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and those one and done single player games that, trust me, Microsoft are working on now. So you guys might not want to run with that one and done single player. No one cares, like because people do, and Microsoft are making them as I speak. They're definitely in demand. And
I say it's going to sell. It's going to sell 10 million by the end of the year.
Yeah, it's gonna be phenomenal. It may do more because Uncharted did around that number, I think. So
it'll do more. If like realistically, if it's at 3 million, 3 days of tracking, I wouldn't be surprised when we get next month's MPD that it's at like 6 million. To be honest.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's cute. It just keeps going. It's good.
Well, either way, we got almost 550 people watching live. Guys, hit that like button if you can. Get the word out there about the show. We appreciate it. Hey, D, did you hear about this Connect that Microsoft are revamping for their kind of AI and cloud services and all that good stuff?
Yeah, I did hear it. It's interesting. First of all, I was a big fan of the Kinect. Now, I don't think they should have ever bundled it or forced it upon consumers. But I actually thought it was a good device. Like I loved coming into my house and saying, "Hey, Xbox, turn my TV on," and all this shit, and watch CNN or whatever, and it would do it. And it was very accurate, and especially with the Kinect enabled games, it was very accurate with the motion tracking. So, I was sad to see it die, but I understand why they killed it. Now, bringing it back is if it's an option, I could see a lot of consumers getting back into it, because on the PC side, for instance, there's not a lot of good cameras, especially like 4K cameras, much less cameras that do accurate tracking. There's not, and they're going to enable the cloud to do some compute on that. Who knows what they can do with it? So I'm interested into seeing what they're gonna bring to the table with this new Connect. As long as it's a standalone device, they're not gonna bundle it with the next Xbox One, any of that nonsense.
No, have you heard what the plan is with this? They're calling it a 4th generation Connect. I don't know why that article said that, but it sounds like it's going to be for augmented reality. So it may be something that is mostly pushed onto the PC platform. I don't know if they're going to do something where they're going to make it an optional peripheral for the next Xbox.
Well, it could even apply to this Xbox, because we know at some point in time they are going to enable Oculus Rift on it because it is compatible. Like the GPU is powerful enough to do Oculus Rift games.
And it's also going to be augmented by cloud compute so that they can get it to do different things that, you know, if they're using augmented reality or they're using it as a tracker for the next generation of VR, which will come to Xbox once it goes wireless, according to Phil Spencer. You know, he's not worried about VR yet since it's not ready. But you know, that's all that crap that we don't really care about.
This ties into another community question quick. Now, they were asking if Alexa is coming to Xbox One through Cortana. Is this have anything to do with that as well? And that's a shout out to Newark NJ360 for the question.
I have no clue.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool, because I don't have Alexa. I have Google Home, and I gotta say that shit's awesome, man. It turns on all my lights in my house, turns on and off my television. Like I can even ask it recipes, and it'll tell me step by step how to cook that shit. Like it's awesome. I can't even lie. It's such an awesome device.
Give me a recipe with goat milk.
And you know what? Literally, it will fucking tell you one.
You know, if they do come out with something sort of like the Kinect again and it's for VR, that's fine, and make it just for that. But don't come out and call it Kinect. Let the Kinect just die already.
Yeah, give it a new name. That's a good idea.
Kid, are you back? I see his name.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my bad. My body.
Jesus Christ.
No, my mic was on mute just in case I was still here but not here, so I was just like freaking flipping out all over the place. So
gotcha. Well, I want to get to you first on this next topic, but I got to give a shout out to the RDX sponsors on Patreon. The Dirge Knight, we got Mendenhall and Guillermo Cavillo. Thank you guys so much. You guys are in the RDX sponsor tier, and you guys power the show. Thank you so much, and I'm improving that as well. So I'll be asking you guys what kind of questions and things you'd like to see addressed, topics, and we'll definitely make sure and get those into the show. Thank you so much. Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider Kid. All this talk last week, I think you covered this as well, did you not?
Yeah.
The developer, and I showed the developer, so it ain't like people are tripping. He said 4K 60 frames per fucking second. Now, the problem a lot of people did was watch my shit on my channel and not watch the whole video where I said not in a million years will do 4K 60 frames a second. But they did confirm the 60 frames per second mode, and they also said that they're going to have their first ever E3 showing at their own press conference this year, Square Enix. What are your thoughts on all this stuff?
Wow, they doubled down.
The thing is, all right, I was hoping it was true. I even left a comment in your damn video.
Well, we all were, man.
Yeah, but no, but realistically thinking, I figured, it'd be like what they did with Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I'm not. It doesn't disappoint me. It is what it is. I'm probably gonna do the 4K mode first anyway, and then do my second playthrough on the 60 frames. But as long as the game is good, I mean, I love Rise of the Tomb Raider, one of my favorite games of the generation. So it's like, whatever, I expect native 4K, and I expect a good 60 frames. If they do it right, it's fine. But I mean, there was no need for like a backlash or a super reaction. And I knew a correction was coming sometime soon from someone, but you did really kind of called it like quite a few times already, even when it first hinted out. And even when he seems like the developer clarified that, 4K 60, there was still some doubt there. But yeah, man, it's just like, it is what it is. I mean,
and internet company.
It is what it is.
You've got mail. Goodbye.
Just in case you can hear us, kid, we cannot hear you, bud. So that's Kids Moves Internet Adventures. That'll be on Nintendo DS next month. And hey, for the rest of us, Square Enix, they're going to have their own press conference. Does this mean, because we know that Tomb Raider has some kind of deal with Microsoft, right? Let us know in the chat what you think about all this. They're having their own show this E3, meaning are they going to show Shadow the Tomb Raider off there? Or is Microsoft going to show it off first and they'll just show the trailer again, like Ubisoft, I do believe, did last year? How do you think this is going to work out, Shady?
I think this would be something very similar to that, where Microsoft will show maybe a bit of a tease, and then on the Square Enix show themselves, they'll maybe get a bit more in-depth or a different gameplay, something along those lines. And I'm really excited for them having their own show because they are doing all of the Marvel stuff now. So I feel we're going to get a whole bunch of that as well on their single show.
Ah, man, the Marvels. So, Crystal Dynamics, makers of Rise of the Tomb Raider, Kids Moves Right, absolutely phenomenal fucking game. One of my favorite games this generation. That team is making an Avengers game, and it's been several years. It's been since 2015. They didn't port the PS4 version. They didn't do the Pro or X1X version. That was a different team. And they've been working on Avengers for 3 years, so we should see something this year. And we should also see something from Warner Brothers on the Arkham or Justice League front from Rocksteady. Keep in mind, we haven't seen anything from them since Arkham Knight in early 2015. That was a late 2014 game that got delayed. And we also hadn't heard from the Arkham Origins team from 2013. And they've had 5 years to do whatever. So I'm thinking they may have consolidated Rocksteady with the WB Montreal team for support. And they're working on this big fucking Superman or Justice League game or something. Let us know what you think in the chat. Any takers on this? Excited to see what the future of Rocksteady. They haven't let us down yet.
Oh, I got an Avengers game? Are you kidding me? Because I'm not a huge DC fan. Like, I do like Batman. I wish we'd get a decent Superman game. I think they're working on one, so let's see what happens. But an Avengers game?
Just waiting for them to implement Goat Man.
Oh, but for real, an Avengers game with all those characters, just their track record alone tells me this game's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, so that would be Crystal Dynamics, the Tomb Raider guys doing that. Anyone else got anything to say on the Avengers and or Justice League game coming out of Crystal Dynamics and
as long as it looks better than that Marvel versus Capcom game last year was really. Oh my gosh, I was watching the E3 2017 presentation the other day, and that game just looks so cheesy. I don't know if anybody ended up liking it, but it just looked really campy.
Bats in the chat says the rumor is a Superman game. Yes, I heard that as well. I've also seen some a leaked screenshot of a Superman in the new 52 costume, which is kind of concerning. But there was also another rumor of a Damian Wayne game where you can upgrade the Batmobile and all this stuff, and that was coming out of WB Montreal. So there's like a lot of stuff going on right here, and we haven't heard anything from either of those teams in a while.
It's not like you said Damian Wayne.
I say give
Damian Wayne, yeah.
Oh,
I say if it's an Avengers game, give Thor the same mechanics as Kratos from God of War.
Yes.
Well, where do you think they thought of that idea? They watched Thor and they're like, "Holy shit, that's pretty cool."
Yeah, but in Thor's games, they've all been trash, man.
Yeah,
Terrible.
I think that was Sega.
Yeah,
Sega.
So Square Enix, they're doing their conference on June 11th. And, I can't wait to see what that Avengers mess is all up. Because I like DC and Marvel. I'm not like, one's better than the other. Like, I understand that Warner Brothers executives have interfered in the DC movie so badly. They're hiring directors that don't need to be hired sometimes. But I have hope for the future.
You know what? I'm with you, though, man. I love the DC movies as well. I mean, not all of them, but some of them. I just think, man, these games like Batman Arkham series is fantastic. I mean, who doesn't like those?
Yeah, phenomenal. Some of my favorite games of all time. EA talks about the combined sales of these generations of consoles. Colt, give us the DL on this here real quick.
Gosh. They said that they expect by the end of 2018 that the PS4 and Xbox One will have combined 130 million consoles sold. So everyone's interpolating the math, and I'm not sure how to approach this, but yeah, I mean,
they're saying 130 by the end of the year. The PS4 is at 75 million now.
So is it possible the PS4 ends the year at 90 million, and that means that the Xbox One has sold 40 million this generation?
I predict it's 85 million for PS4 at the end of this year.
Another 10 million for the. What are they getting? How many are they selling about each month MPD only shows us the North American numbers, but
yeah, February it was over 1 million, just like the Xbox One in the US alone. It was 1 million for Xbox and PlayStation. The holidays are huge. I think last holiday, Xbox sold 4 or 5 million in 1 month or some shit.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. We just kind of have to see. But 85 million, they're saying the total will be 130 million. So you're looking at close to 50 million Xbox Ones out there, I guess.
So let's address this because I think EA probably looks at numbers of engagement of their big games. So they have a lot of big games, but a lot of games where they're looking at numbers on their side, aren't they looking at possible game share accounts? Like, I don't know how they're getting this kind of number if Microsoft doesn't report anything. You know, it's different from what VG Charts does. Like, they use interpolation, they use what they get from different sales figures. They have to make up they have to fill in the blanks to get whatever Xbox is getting. And
yeah, VG Charts is way off.
Balls.
Yeah, they are.
VG Charts had Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider at 3 million before Square Enix updated their figures officially at almost 7.
Yeah.
So, and then that day VG Charts changed it to 7. So they were less than half of what the sales were actually at. So
but anybody else get bored by that sales talk and all that stuff with the consoles? I do. Yep.
Join the club, but we got people in the chat that are they want to know this type of stuff, so we bring it to them the best we can. Hey, they're also opening up a studio for the avatars. They're getting people to work on avatars, but it's supposed to spread across all of their devices. But what we really want to talk about, and what's actually the news here, is the fact that they are opening up a mega studio, and this is where things get juicy. So for those still there, hit that like button if you can. Let's try to get up to 300 for the end of the show. A quadruple A games studio based out of Santa Monica. Now, as I said at the beginning of the show, that's not a typo. Apparently, you guys have heard of AAA games. Quadruple A games are bigger and more polished, got much more production value behind them. And Shady, you read a little bit about a quadruple gaming studio.
I did. There was apparently one allegedly to start back in the day for quadruple A, and I'm not sure what that game ended up being, but they just define quadruple A as just having a massive budget and massive production value compared to triple A games, which are, again, open to definition, but it's the big games, guys. We're going big. We're going fucking huge.
Yeah. God of War was a AAA. Everything I've ever played apparently was a AAA, but in terms of the highest production value. But this is a quadruple A game, and it's kind of mind blowing. This could possibly be a massive E3 announcement. Matt Booty and the guy behind this studio, I'm speculating, and several others are speculating. What's this? Daryl Gallagher, the guy that headed up the Tomb Raider reboot. Microsoft hired him, brought him in as a studio head, most likely an executive. And of course, he was already based in Santa Monica. When he was with Activision, he was already based in Santa Monica. This new quadruple A studio is based in Santa Monica. And Matt Booty, the new head of Xbox, and Daryl Gallagher said on Twitter, they have a big announcement this E3. I'm thinking they're putting this guy in charge of this quadruple A studio.
Yes, that's what I've been hoping for. That's what we've all been hoping for. I want to see Microsoft do better here for Xbox. So we all do.
Let me sum this up real quick, and we're going to go real deep on this one because it's that sounded weird. All right, so this was a job posting that got taken down. You needed 10 years of experience in the gaming industry. You needed 4 years of experience if you're going to be a lead executive producer, and of course, you have to have experience shipping high-end quality titles at quadruple A studio standards, which I didn't know was a thing until today. And of course, they want to specialize in new IP. This is a Microsoft studio. The entire thing is being built for scalability throughout development. If they need 200 people to come on and scale up some multiplayer maps or add some detail in the maps, they can hire them. They built everything to scale. So they got all these extra places for these extra developers to come in when they're needed and to go elsewhere when they're not. So it's kind of being tuned from the beginning for basically maximum value.
Putting their money where their mouth is, really. Like, they've been – the Xbox is not beating the PS4, but it's certainly making some good money, and turn that money into a nice big new facility and bring in contractors, bring in some of the best people on their side of the business. And hello, yeah, I'll take a.
Kids calling in.
We have a caller. Call your number 7.
But yeah, what
bring
you say?
bring in something big, and that just reminds me of like something like God of War. It puts the feet to the fire of these guys. Let's do something great, like the competition.
Yeah. So, D, what do you envision when you think quadruple A studio? As Microsoft have said, you must have massive amounts of experience to even apply here, and it's being headed up. It's being headed up by proven talent in the form of Daryl Gallagher, who was the lead guy on the 2013 Tomb Raider reboot.
Yeah, well, I did a story earlier on my YouTube channel on this. I missed the quadruple A part though. I'll tell you that.
I know you did. That's why I asked you.
But that's quadruple A just means the fucking cherry on top. So they want the best of the best of the best, and that gives me hope because Microsoft is suffering this generation. Let's be honest. Like the last few years, we're not getting any new IPs. We're getting the same old refresh of our games. And although they're not bad, I enjoy those games. I still need something new. And most of the fan base wants something new. And just the fact, all the credentials that you need just to get into this studio, and they went into detail what they're looking for, and everything that the job is going to entail, and it's some serious shit. So they're really looking towards the future of the Xbox brand. The bad part is that unfortunately this is not going to take fruition for a couple of years. So at least next generation we're covered, but I think it's a step in the right direction, to be honest with you.
I'd say they're pulling out all the stops. Kid, are you here?
Yeah, you hear me?
Oh man, you really are the best spot.
Hey, let me add. Rand said something that I don't think a lot of people saw. Rand said that for Microsoft, quadruple A means a budget approaching 100 million. AAA game for them is a budget of over 20 million. I don't know where he gets that, but if that's true, that makes more sense than it gives you like a metric to look at what they mean.
Basically, either way, these are fucking massive games. I mean, you're looking at 4 times, 5 times the budget here.
I want to put it into perspective though here. We haven't seen any game yet or anything like that. So I don't want people running around saying, oh my God, Microsoft's going to do it big, but at the same time, it's not bad to get excited for a company that seems like they're going to start competing here with these games. So for people out there naysaying it and stuff, hey, let people be happy for stuff like this. This is cool. But at the end of the day, we have to remember that we just haven't seen anything yet, and we haven't heard really anything yet. At this E3, though, this should make for a good show to hear some of this stuff. I'm really hoping this announcement really puts, that hype back into Xbox. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. And look, they picked a great guy because, head of that game that came out in 2013, I thought that reboot of Tomb Raider, that game, personally for me, while graphically it wasn't as good as Rise of the Tomb Raider, to me the story was better. I preferred that.
Oh my God, Fonz! No, you can't.
I know. I'm just saying. I preferred that game better. I preferred that game better.
Yeah. It was a great game. It was amazing. And shout out to almost 600 people watching live, guys. Kid Smooth, are you? Did you go online and upgrade your internet yet, man? What's going on? He's gone. All right.
Now we got another community question tie-in real quick from Hood News Media. He wants to know if this new studio in Santa Monica is a direct response to God of War and maybe to lure new awesome talent.
No, that'd be like a year in the making.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely for just too long for that.
That's a phenomenal and very relevant question because God of War was fire, and Microsoft, people take Phil out of context and say he didn't care about single player or any of that. He never said any of that. Never, ever. Go read the actual quote. But people are, hey, this is God of War is proof, and a lot of other games are proof to Microsoft that this is safe to invest in, and they can take this talent and use it on any type of game they want to use, and that's great, But Colt's right. This is literally well over a year in the making. They've already announced all this money being spent forever ago.
I've been around the an industry as a consumer for 36 years now, and I've never heard the term quadruple A. I don't know if I necessarily like them throwing that around because it almost seems like it's going to get people.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Overhyped sometimes.
You only have AAA games. We have quadruple A.
Microsoft probably finally brought out their first quadruple A game, and it wasn't as good as the competing AAA game. Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Really, the takeaway here is that Microsoft has heard the needs of their consumers, and they're actually they're bending over backwards a little bit. A little too late, but
I disagree.
I'm glad they're doing it.
I don't think they heard the need of the consumers. I think they see that the relevancy of these games, you know, and the fact that they're selling well, and you know, they don't really listen to individual people out there crying on Twitter about stuff. They look at statistics, they look at data, they look at things that, you know, trend. They don't listen to us in that regard. They don't say, oh, Joe Schmo just said we need to make a game like God of War. Damn it, we need to do it for Joe. No, that's not happening.
And Joe doesn't buy it.
Exactly.
All I know is AAA has me quintuple hyped.
So yeah, quadruple A games are definitely a thing. Apparently, massive mega studio budget. Apparently, according to Randall Thor, it's $100 million budget as opposed to somewhere around the $20 million. I don't know the logistics of that, but it's very interesting nonetheless. Shout out to 600 people watching live, guys. Hit that like button if you can. Let's try to get to 300 as the show ends. And to close that out, Microsoft did say this is going to be their biggest E3 ever. So that's, you know what? We've heard stuff like this before. So I'm just going to hold on to my seat here for a minute. And and I'm not going to judge the quadruple A studio thing hard until I see the first
ever with the biggest quadruple A's, and you know what else are they going to say? Like, come on, bring it down.
I mean, I don't have any reason to doubt them right now. Honestly, I don't, because this was Phil announced $1 billion plus spent into games well over a year ago, and this has been under its way forever. So anybody saying God of War did this, no, not even close.
No. They have to push it out there. They have to promote and have to excite people. I get it. But you know, I'm just telling others to temper their expectations a bit, just a bit.
As an Xbox gamer, you should be used to tempering your expectations.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on who you are. Some people only play Fortnite, right? So how are they supposed to temper their expectations when they get the best version of Fortnite on console? So that's what I'm saying. Once again, everything's just perspective, opinion. And I'm sure they defined their entire Xbox experience around Fortnite and Fortnite alone.
I have to point this out too, though. If they are making this big quadruple A studio, and this is coming, you know, to fruition here, that doesn't mean that a game is going to come out a week later, guys. Please stop, because that's the one thing. Look, I'm going to rant a little bit here. The Xbox One X, when that dropped, you had people buying it and stuff, and then now you've got a few people, not many on the Xbox side, but there are a few out there who are saying, you know, they expected more from Microsoft with this console. They expected them to come out with something new, something fresh, something that really takes advantage of the X. And I'm thinking, what? All they announced was Sea of Thieves, Crackdown 3, and State of Decay 2.
And a lot of those same people were the people that said, oh, it's okay that the Pro doesn't launch with any games.
Yeah, but here's my point. Here's my point. A lot of us, most of us, knew why we were buying that hardware. It was to get rid of that old dog shit hardware that we had and to play games in its best representation. We have the multiplats that did take advantage of the X. People are acting like it doesn't, but they do. Okay. And
no, they know. They don't act like it's not taking advantage. They know.
And then the exclusives that we have, sure, you know, they may be mediocre, but they are taking advantage of the X as well. You are getting a step up above the S model. It's just that those games
aren't say they're mediocre though. I mean, Forza was by far the best ray racing game of last gen.
Like Sea of Thieves. Okay?
Yeah, see, that's one game though. That's the problem. Yeah. We can't just pretend like it's every game. And State of Decay 2 is going to be at least an 80 on Metacritic. It's going to be good. So
the difference is PS4 had a few games like Recore and Sea of Thieves that didn't do that well and had low Metacritic scores. But the difference is they had a couple other great games that went above and beyond. So,
but here's my point. My point is, I don't like people pushing the narrative that everybody who bought the X was expecting something, some miracle, something just to come out of thin air. You know, these games take time to make. People, that's one thing you really have to understand here. Let common sense prevail. Okay, I mean, come on. That's what I wanted to say.
Well, in the meantime, the X is playing every single game I own better, loads them faster, runs smoother. I can't complain. I don't need one title to stand out to justify my purchase. I have hundreds.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a ton of fun. I was surprised some of those games. I heard people bash Rise, and I was not expecting much from it, but I don't know.
So, Shady, How do you expect a quadruple A game to differ? Just that insane amount of Blizzard polish, maybe on certain aspects, or what do you expect to define a quadruple A game in a year and a half, 2 years, maybe more from Microsoft?
Well, I expect more than just my mind to be blown, if you know what I'm saying. I just expect big things. I want a big game, big budget, awesome voice acting, awesome story, great gameplay with depth. I'd like to see it all. Just huge. I want to see something that is truly huge, that, you know, really blows people's expectations out of the water as what they thought a video game could be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just that sheen, that polished. And just because something's a great single player game doesn't mean I want to have multiplayer to back it up, right, D?
That's right.
That's right. Bah. Kid, I'm guessing you're still gone. Is he even here?
Yeah, he's not even in the room.
Okay. Well, shout out to Kid. He tried to join this week, but his internet got AIDS. So we tried our hardest, and I don't know what was going on. But any other last thoughts on the quadruple A side of things, Colt? What type of game do you guys want this to be? In the chat, please help us out here. Types of games you'd like to see.
I'd like to see an RPG that's not so much like Fable, you know, something more mature, of course, or a big, you know, I don't know, big story-driven game, because Xbox hasn't really put out anything like that this generation. Have they, besides Rise?
Well, they put out story-driven games, but like me and Shane are playing 4, and we're in Act 4.
But I mean, I'm talking about something new that we've never heard of.
Yeah, like you're talking about new IP, which is what the studio specializes in, by the way. So
yeah, I'd like to see a new RPG IP or a new story-driven mature IP. Would be cool to see.
I would say like an action RPG in the same vein of like Mass Effect, you know, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least it's not coming from a bunch of people that ask for that type of stuff and then never be any of them. So, I mean, I know some people ask for this stuff. We want mature-driven, narrative-driven games with sprinkles on it. And then we look, and they've not beat one of them on PlayStation, on Xbox. And it's like, oh, my God.
That sounds familiar.
People take you seriously. Yeah. So, Kid, you're back. What's going on with internet, bud?
I think so. Am I not botting, man?
No, you're fine, bro.
Sure.
Oh my God, man. Yo, this is bad luck. I feel like I can't speak for no more than 2 minutes before Comcast says bye-bye.
Oh, shit. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the quadruple A thing going on here?
What does that freaking mean? I was trying
to means amazing. That means probably
bigger budget.
Yeah, much $100 million budget, basically.
So it was a type of, I mean, have we ever had a quadruple A game?
Oh my God, Comcast strikes again.
Did they catch me?
Just work with him. Just work with him for a minute. we said, have they ever had a triple A or a quadruple A game before?
No, I don't. Not that I know of.
Would you consider God of War one?
I would consider it a triple A game, a very, very good triple A game.
Yeah.
I mean, to my knowledge and to everyone's knowledge, the quadruple A game didn't exist before this.
Yeah, I thought it was a typo.
I kind of don't like the quadruple title just because I just know the guys out there, they're just going to start fucking slandering it.
Well, there's people out there, D, that are just going to slander everything, and there's nothing you can do about those people. You just got to ignore them and look at the industry and say, hey, it is what it is. It's called a quadruple A game. Now, what can we expect of it? And that's what I want to know, Kid. What do you think is going to come of this mega studio that Microsoft have assembled?
Man,
just so you know, 10 years of experience in the industry required, 4 years to be a lead producer. You've got to have a lot of experience just to even apply here.
It low-key sound like they're trying to get people from Sony Santa Monica.
I don't know if you were in here before, but I explained that Matt Booty, the new head of Xbox, and Daryl Gallagher, the guy they hired from the original Tomb Raider 2013 reboot, they both announced that they're going to have news at E3. Daryl Gallagher, when he worked at Activision, actually worked in Santa Monica, and I'm thinking they're going to put him in charge of this mega studio and build some good shit.
I think it's lining up that way. I thought Daryl Gallagher was going to be like the person to announce, the Perfect Dark reboot, but it's shaping up to be that way. It makes a lot of sense. They got an announcement, but you know what I think? Because I still don't think what makes it worth an E3 announcement, even though everything seems like, they're they're hiring, they're building a studio. But what is it worth at E3? What are you gonna do? Like, hey, this is where we're located. This is.
I hear you. Yeah, it's like, what are you gonna? Hey, because if they announce a new mega studio, then people are just gonna focus on that. They didn't have any studios before, and that's why you announced that.
Yeah, so I just feel like there's something to be shown for it, and even though it seems impossible, I think a lot of these postings are delayed, like delayed postings, just for like.
I think it's intentional. I think it was an intentional leak. How come this is still happening in this day and age where they're accidentally posting shit about a quadruple A studio or a job listing? I think it's Microsoft's way of saying, hey, we can't tell you this, but we're building. What's that fucking thing in the Last Jedi? That ship? He's like, those things kill fleets. Juggernaut or whatever the ship was called. Like we're building a Juggernaut. Like we're building one of the most badass fucking things we can build to facilitate what we want to do. And maybe that's just their way of I know we're gonna get a ton of comments. Last Jedi sucked. You know, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not even gonna talk about it. But yeah, maybe they're just really putting a ton of money and resources into this, man. Shady, I'm going to give you the final word on this. One last thing. Anything else come to mind? Colt, anybody?
I was just going to say, at the very least, I do like seeing that it seems that Microsoft's ambition is really shooting for the stars now. It doesn't seem like video games are just a side hobby for them. They're taking it serious, and it just takes a little while, guys, for a ship the size of Microsoft to turn around and aim its focus. But when it does, I think we're going to get some really serious games out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Very well said.
Do you think that Gallagher is going to do some political humor and smash watermelons on stage?
A couple of kumquats, maybe. I think so.
Okay.
I don't know. He might. But kid, man, that sucks. I mean, we'll probably have you on again, man, soon because you're fucking MIA. But let us know what you think in the chat, guys. That's been our show. Tons of great information regarding E3, a new mega fucking studio, and all kinds of stuff. Also, Fortnite, just real quick, because I did want to cover this real quick for those who wanted to know. We don't play Fortnite, but Shady does. And explain the gauntlet thing real quick as we head out of here, just so we can kind of cover that aspect real quick.
That's right. Thanos himself arrived in Fortnite today. It's a mode on itself. It's for one player. You go in within 2 minutes of the map starting. I guess the gauntlet comes raining down from the skies, lands in a random spot. You pick it up and you become the monster machine himself, Thanos. You're running around, jumping 100 feet in the air, smashing guys with 1-2 punches, knocking buildings down. I watched some videos. It looks pretty epic. I'm looking forward to giving it a shot.
Yeah, that's imagine the money they're raking in if they're just like, hey, can we put Thanos in our game? Here's some fucking money. Here's some, you know.
And what a huge crossover with the biggest movie in the world crossing with the biggest game in the world. The synergy is just amazing with those two companies.
God, man, I had Fortnite. I had Fortnite day one, and just to see how far that game's come because of a game mode like Battle Royale is insane to me. It's nuts.
Hey, Rosenkrantz has a good point. He said if State of Decay 2 is AAA to them, then he has low hopes for quadruple A. So, I mean...
Well, the price point speaks for itself. It's $30. So, it just because a Twitter manager says it's AAA. And, you know, it is what it is. If it were $60, you might have an argument, but it's not, and you don't. But,
yeah, the price tells me it's not. It's AA.
Yeah, it's definitely AA. And check out my graphics comparison if you didn't of the game. It's hard to argue that game does not look and handle and just everything significantly better. I don't know if you guys checked it out.
Yeah, check it out.
It's night and fucking day. And also go to Fonz's channel, check out some of his stuff. Go to Kid Smooth's channel, check out some of his stuff. Go to fucking D-Batch's channel, check out some of his stuff. Go to Cole Eastwood's channel, check out some of his stuff. And we're going to start with some outros. Thank you guys. Almost 600 people checking us out today. Please hit that like button on your way out. Let's get some outros done. Kid Smooth, I want to start with you because you got to say the least. Because you get some fraudulent internet, man. What's going on with you? Where can people find you?
Please, on my road to 10,000, try and catch up with these fellas here. YouTube, Kid Smooth, you know, type in Kid Smooth.
Ignore the top 16 videos. Go to his channel. Yeah. And Kid, I figured you'd laugh at that, man. There's so many frauds just talking shit, man.
Yeah, you know, I wanted to talk about that, but yeah, you know, Comcast is the technician is going to come tomorrow and get my shit back where it needs to be, and then hopefully I can come back and hopefully have a real discussion. But happy to for the invite anyway.
Yeah, and I'm supposed to be on Planet Xbox tomorrow, right?
Yeah, you're gonna show up.
Oh, of course, I told you to show up.
It may or may not be a go, depending on my internet. So
okay, well, and we also got Cole Eastwood here. Let people know where they can find you, brother. Good show.
You can find me at Colt Eastwood on YouTube, Twitter, Xbox, PSN. It's a good day. You guys didn't even say anything. It's my birthday. I turned 76 years old today. So
happy belated. Happy
birthday to you.
So it's good. It's really fun tonight. It was a little crazy for a show tonight, wasn't it? We had a couple rough spots we had to talk about, but appreciate you guys sticking with us through there. I mean, the chat is really good. Our audience is super, super great. So it was fun. Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Just remember, when you hear some bullshit, ask for a source and check it out yourself. Don't be one of those people. And Colt just released a pretty good video here recently as well, so go check that out. D-Batch, what have you been up to, bro? Where can people find you?
You can find me at Twitter at D_batch, and of course on YouTube at D-Batch. And man, I want to tell you, my girl took my son over to her mom's house. I'm gonna catch some Z's after this podcast because I'm not getting any sleep these days, man.
Well, definitely check out D-Batch. Also, we got So Shady, the newest member of the show. Where can people find you, man?
Hey, thanks for everyone for coming out. Thanks for everyone for listening in the future. You can find me at The Sesh Empire on Twitter. That's The Sesh Empire, SESH. Possible side effects of signing up include a brightening to your face, brightening to your day, a possible smile on your face, the uncontrollable urge to like, share, and retweet, and godlike gaming ability.
Are you reading this off?
I wrote it down on this.
It's not written down. It's coming out of my goddamn mind. All right, relax.
If you guys are going to be getting to know Shady, if anything, he is totally genuine. So we're just giving him crap.
Yeah, and we've also got Fonterelli. I wanted to save him for last because he just put out a State of Decay video as well. Pretty good.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. And, I wanted to say to the chat, thank you, and everybody listening. Thanks for listening. And also, some clips are probably going to be taken from the show, but you know what? Come to the source and listen to it before you pass judgment, please. And you can find me at Jay Fonzarelli on YouTube and Twitter. And I put up a State of Decay video talking about why I'm excited for the next installment. And also, I am hard at work right now on a high production freaking video that I'm going to be putting out, probably not until next week because this one's going to take me a while, guys. But I am planning on doing more videos and stuff, so please check out my channel.
Yeah, and like Jay said, some people they're all about that shit, but we got a lot of I think they forget that more people listen to us than they think, and that's why I get messages about how they've lied to their own subscribers and stuff. So it's one of those things. Even from the people in their own shows will message me and say this is all bullshit. I know, but regardless, you guys are the best chat in the universe. Thank you so much to the RDX sponsors I listed off in the middle of the show. And if you want to become one, check out the Patreon link down below. If you want to come on to the podcast, check out the Patreon link down below. If you sign up now, you can probably get in very, very soon. The list is kind of thinning out there. So once again, guys, thank you guys so much for all your support. Hit that like button on your way out if you would. We appreciate it. We're out.